Your gut is like a stream, and you will find that the increasing smoothness of flow and the clarity of the water in your stream reflect the increasing health of your gut. Now, if I said that to you out of the blue, you would probably suggest, quite understandably, that I undertook some psychological or psychiatric testing as a matter of urgency. But it's actually true. And this is a thing called the Manchester model, which was developed by Professor Peter Warwell, consultant gastroenterologist of the South Manchester Functional Bowel Unit, along with his team. And it has been rigorously tested through research and published papers, which have all been peer reviewed. And this all comes down to some of the factors, because IBS is a multifactored disorder, syndrome. Some of the factors that are actually responsible for the most refractory cases, most difficult, complex cases of IBS. Some individuals find that a slight change in diet achieves what they want. Some people find Imodium helps with diarrhea, and that's enough. And others try Imodium, change of diet, many things, and they still continue to have very debilitating, very uncomfortable, very antisocial IBS. Because IBS is a social nightmare, and it is life restricting. There are many things people with IBS feel they cannot do, and they actually avoid a lot of social situations, work situations. And I know this as an IBS sufferer of 17 years, and I can honestly say that since I started studying hypnotherapy and getting interested in IBS, that my bowel movements are pretty much normal, from rushing to the loo 15 times a day within 30 seconds of waking up in the morning. My stools are now pretty much normal, unless I pig out on too many vegetables, such as sweet corn, or I have a very hot curry with red kidney beans in it. I know better. My fault. So that's something I bring on for myself. But sometimes it is worth it for a decent chili. One of the important aspects of IBS is the role of the automatic nervous system, the one which unconsciously runs our bodies. And there's two sides to this, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And the sympathetic nervous system doesn't live up to its name. It is more responsible for feelings of stress and anxiety. And this has an influence on the nervous system of the gut, which is often referred to as the second brain, because of its size. And this is the enteric nervous system, and although it can operate independently, it is influenced by the autonomic nervous system. So if you're feeling stress and anxiety, it will literally upset your gut, and you'll be expressing it in your gut and through your bowels habit. There is a second side to the functioning of your gut, and this is something which has been tested again by Warwell with balloon catheters inserted up the rectum and inflated to determine how uncomfortable it is, first signs of pain. And this is a hypersensitivity, an increased sensitivity, or a hyposensitivity, a decreased sensitivity of the gut. And the hypersensitivity brings on diarrhea. The bowel never feels empty, so you always feel like you need to go to the loo. And actually the amount of fecal matter it can contain without sending a first signal of urgency, need to empty, is really quite small. Whereas in constipation based, it is undersensitive, it's reduced sensitivity, and therefore you can contain an awful lot of fecal matter in your gut, in the bowel, before you actually express a need, or your brain is told you need to empty your gut, empty your bowel. And one of the things which the Manchester model does is it actually resets that sensitivity. It normalises it. And this is done through metaphor. And one of the lovely things is you don't actually have to achieve a great depth of trance. What happens is the conscious mind listens to the story and thinks, yeah, that's a nice story about a garden and a stream, all the factors that need to be put into it. But the subconscious mind interprets it. It learns that it's clearing out the muck from the bowel by clearing out the stream. And by doing this, the function of the bowel is normalised, its sensitivity is normalised, your stool's normalised. And it's actually interesting to also note that in the research done by Warwell and others, that if somebody has a normal bowel function, the metaphor doesn't make any change at all. So it really is the case that the mind, the subconscious mind, listens, interprets, understands and takes action. One of the other areas of upset with irritable bowel is actually the self-fulfilling prophecy side of it, the fear of incontinence. And if you think about it, if you're going on a long journey and maybe there's 50 miles between potential loo breaks, you'll be concerned potentially that you might have an accident, your gut might be so stressed out, so upset that you actually can't cope with an hour between nipping to the loo. And you then find that you get more stressed about this. You go to the loo maybe 4 or 5 times before you head out on the journey, just to make sure your bowel's empty. You skip breakfast, everything like that. And your bowel's habit gets worse and worse. Your diarrhoea is, you just keep on needing to go to the loo. And therefore your fear gets worse and you go to the loo more frequently again. And then you turn around and say, well, I can't cope with this journey. And I'm going to have an accident or nearly have an accident, same as I did last time. So you actually end up abandoning your journey. You might be going to see your family or friends. When you abandon your journey, as you did the previous time, you go, see, I couldn't make it, I couldn't manage it. That's a real shame. Manchester model, Gut Orientated Metaphor. It is the approach to treating IBS with hypnotherapy that has been most researched. Many other approaches utilise it. They say about the results of the audit of Warwell and others in 2002 of 250 patients who had an 80% improvement in their bowel function. So 80% of people getting 80% improvement in their bowel function. Yeah, that's pretty damn good, especially in the most difficult cases. But they quote this when actually the research was about Gut Orientated Metaphor, the Manchester model. It wasn't about other approaches. Anyway, I hope you found this recording useful and it's given you some food for thought and some options for treatment to help you regain control of your bowel and its functioning. Thank you very much.